NPP media personally, I am a victim of his bully. Nana Bana say, "Why me here? Nana Yabrefo. I don't even care. So Nana Yabrefo for the car. Media me say I'm fighting for her because I want a secret. They find here. Nipa looks. Said ye boy, ye na ye permission. Ye beg na Yakupon. Ni say Yakupon. Ye say I can't catch Yakupon. Yakupon ye say Yakupon ye. I say na iti. Ana brother Samicho no more kind. Nipa phone the cancel phone because this kitchen blogger you did at me. One also who had the one in the year. Oh, did you mount him or bully ma? And I've been there to upon him. And I've been there, you know, sorry, Master, I could deal with this guy. Me say, and no, they are so personal to me. It's so personal to me. I go deal with that. He go shock, he go over. The you know, maybe did not them. But this thing that he has done to me over the years, over 10 years, insult, bully, attack, abuse. Oh, he go over. He go over. He go over.
For the day, be out some munuso. Sa about 2 for guest house a jantra for na de na se wabro ni bete ne to o 2 for to di mo de tena o 2 for tena o na mo fo oni ntwitwi fom tena ho no mo fo oni ntwitwi fom puntum abrabom e de hene na yedi ni sa no e de hene na yedi ni sa no e hene ya yedi amanipa ho kire no e ne se mfaso oni so ye yi hene so hene obedi animam puntu abrabom na hene ye you na president aba na ochia ma ye tutu ye storm ye ho kire ye wasa ato so ya ma asantema he de otumfo ekufo do ya ma wo ne wasantema nse ende obumenhia se eye KVIP so eye toilet so into oba odena konwa ba one limited power otumfo you have limited power Asante is nothing before these dwarfs. You were holding on to your kingdom and nanaka and then you said to me womb and then you said to my kasa mabibia also. Ashanti has been limited. There's no power in your seat again. You have shown that you are a politician. You are not a king. You are a politician. Untumi kasanje woman. Untumi for politics in Tunchen and kanokre. And it's not in search of where I say, associate of when you say, in conform by mention to any minimum I'm saying now, Nankos or Pamomo. Oma no to any minimum I'm saying now, who was so? Nankos or Pamomo, or to 1 hour session, and I will sabo mochidom. Wo and a woman santimai say you 2 for 1 hour say santimai o tom, or be a mon country, a santimai said a woo 2 for. Now Queen Elizabeth. Sana obu ni maya ankende kamo yare an kamo ko England ko samo yare Queen Elizabeth awu no sana nko obu ni mai wan kan okrancha politician ankende yare bomo a mo be fa plan ko tena bro chire samo yare munjai sa de mboa mo akonwa na yesoa ye akonwa na yedi ntam kire na akonwa na bebusa ye nsam ansa na yewu yo hene kwasia wo ye kwasia mpanyi pa e wo sa akonwa no ku totwene wonnim nyansa wo be die na ma me no matem kwasia bi na tamo kwa abrochire obetena ha di dantrafo twitwu nkwasia taxi ene tamo ena oba na de ma akonwa die wo de ujimi to wanum kankan so pro kwasia jimi wana ne na ne god bi agu wanum wanum kankan ti wote wana wanum kekawo abowa wa wanum basa na nkwasia keka jimi fo bi na omoto na omoso so me papa on jimi so be kasa sei unnim nyansa wanyini kwa nansi a otwoba ye se tamo kwa abrochire abowa. I don't want to Ghana show. The moment they say you are a leader, you speak like a god. You speak like a mad dog. Why when you moon come say be car on an Ghana and kwasia corruption? You took our money. You have not paid. A Kurobianka was all that jail. Post Amira and your politics there full. And a Jimia. How can he get close to power? Mutum Banzani Samira. Makachiremo me say me ende bijinaho. Na mo san kwasia fo na mo gina ho threat no 2 for say yes me ngobo ye and o 2 for ukobogua me say o 2 for be yini ejam efise mo ye nwan munim nyansa maka me say mo san kwasia fo na mo hu mo asantefo no asante hini kura mbumu se mo ye asantefo efise mo agibi ka se efiri ma no ba no enkire se mo ye asantefo ma eni tira oba santimemu a nipa dodo mo asantimemu no mo bumi eche mu bia mo titi social media say mo ya asantefo ekufo do nkwase ade a oye no Ghana eya hemfo akese o mo Ghana titiru otumfo a onkasa obedwo ma yenhu de ekufo do eye ni tino ekufo do ojimi ne ho me see transma me keka yi ko otumfo kamu miensa ankasa aban we kan kwase ade o me nkomo jai but you say otumfo ne politicians kasa with them. Politicians Jimmy vote na no kasa with them. I didn't know also otumfo kwa politicians kasa with them. No, Opama and the otumfo state to the Asante Council. And make a statement to say nipa mu boat to Techiman South you be see who mu nim Emma Brand mu di answer akoto about 2024 kabo de be see Ghana. But otumfo kasa with them. Why na na kasa? Nana Ekufuado Jina otumfo enim. Time no je otumfo enim ko Ashanti Rosha Dark eka say me ku garam say otumfo woni Asante Council. Na from Paul Boateng the reporter man na share the talk. And there respect on Moku otumfo. He has no respect. And this MPP and Ekufuado, they are using otumfo. Tonka na utimu no. Baby out there say ponko na uhia. Ponko to end na go wie. Ekurokiti obuhia Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce. You don't need Rolls Royce. It's a ton Jaguar no, ton Rolls Royce no, ton air Escalade na uchi no, ton car na pomasi enim no, never ko to scanning machine so na so ye nipa. Otina kroma di atem catcher say ababone ye John Mahama na abapa eye Ekufuado. Uri Yesu eda Ghana for udi atron etu Yesu so. Time na ye campaign o ka kiye mu da ho dwerem. Kiye mu da ho na no ka ende o ka slangs etre nkonwa. Nana mentao mundi nukure di nukure. Udi nukura onyame beto nkwam. Mundi nukure. Ayampia kasachie ensama ka che Ekufuado hu nyina no. Abo besia che president bia owo ewiase Ekufuado.
It go over you. It go over you for everywhere. Me see that it's a personal project, and I don't need a Asante Mine and I'm a to come and tell me if I don't need because me Akasa me free Asante Mine. And if no being it's a personal project for me to deal with this, and I go deal with them. I go deal with them because just the fact that me and Kasamia have been a victim. Oh, me see payback. Me see Madam Budin can say revenge is better, is best served cold. You go over and I go serve them cold, frozen. Obeku say nipa no on the coca and the first no my shed and I'm seeing because I was like we will not descend into the gutter. Then when I got all this revelation I was like nah. The gutter they go day inside. The gutter they go day inside, they go deal with them. Then if I finish I will climb up.
So long as I can tell her. So long as I can tell her. Actually camera sin him. No church na nakuda. Oma peni kufuwa mpua. Na John Dramani Mahama. Aso until you know. Obi etimi kai kasabuashi yeyam. Jeremiah 17:11. Bible say. You open one and call Papa Sono. Or to set for radio of Butukosia and I show you.
Look at Kevin Taylor. Kevin Taylor, when he comes into Ghana, who protects him? It's not national security. You know all the things Kevin Taylor says it said against Ekufuado. You know all the things Kevin Taylor said against Ekufuado and his appointees. Yet when he comes into Ghana, it's James national security that gives him protection. Please, so this thing, let's stop blowing hot and cold. It tells you that people are not happy.
The history of the PNDC rule in Ghana cannot be told without the mention of the public tribunal system. The tribunal system was the main platform on which cases of a criminal nature were tried, and sometimes cases involving political opponents. This system was used, and many feel that it was actually overused and sometimes abused during the PNDC era. Under the Fourth Republic, the Consultative Assembly, which drew the 1992 Constitution, managed to keep the public tribunals in the Constitution by Article 142, which established the public tribunals, and Article 143, which grants jurisdiction to the public tribunals to try matters on so-called public interest. However, all the presidents and parliaments of the Fourth Republic have refused to apply the public tribunal system in Article 142 and 143. First, J.J. Rawlings, who presided over the PNDC, refused to apply it during his two-term presidency. John Agyekum Kufuor, who visited the public tribunals and became president for 2 terms, also refused to apply it. Professor John Evans Atta Mills and President Mahama's first term also both refused to do it. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who has historically been against the public tribunals, also expectedly refused to do it. But on 17th July 2026, the 9th Parliament of the Fourth Republic passed a bill to bring the public tribunals into being. Soon after the bill was passed, some members of civil society, and especially the former vice president, who is also the presidential candidate of the opposition MPP, have called on President Mahama not to accent the bill.
I speak to you on a matter that has the potential to reshape our justice delivery system, confidence in our judiciary, and the future of our democracy altogether. The attempt to reintroduce tribunals into Ghana's judicial system. Last week, Parliament passed the Tribunals Bill 2026. The mandatory one-day interval between the consideration stage and the third reading was waived so that the bill could be passed on the same day. The minority's objections were voted down. Organized labor objected loudly and publicly, but was ignored. The bill will soon be transmitted to the President for his assent. I have one respectful request of President Mahama. Mr. President, do not assent to this bill. Pause and let the nation ponder and deliberate on this very important matter. This is not a partisan request. The Trades Union Congress, the voice of millions of Ghanaian workers, has called for the bill to be withdrawn altogether, warning that in its current form, it could become a potent tool for weaponizing justice delivery.
This documentary will now give you a good view of how the public tribunal system looked like. You can now see journalist Ben Efson covering proceedings in the public tribunal system. Here is John Ajekum Kufuor, Kakra Isamoah, who used to be with the MPP but now the NDC, and lawyer John Indebogere, as well as Dr. Kwame Safwedu, a former presidential candidate of the NPP, and of course, former Attorney General Madame Gloria Ekufu. Here is the scene as crowds cheer whilst accused persons, the late Professor Adu Boahen and journalist Kwesi Pratt Jr. are brought in to answer their charges. Here is Professor Adu Boahen's opening statement.
I believe this was same court was to invite me here to give evidence as a witness. And as the charge seeking the issue, I refuse on that basis. And if I'm brought in the same way, now accused, place me how I can live so I cannot speak. For the reasons which are set up in my letter to the chair of the National Tribunal, I do not accept the authority of this tribunal. I stand by the terms of my letter. Indeed, the present situation confirms the strength of my allegations that these tribunals are instruments for the persecution of political opponents of the PNDC government. It is well known, both the government and the security agencies, that I had no connection whatsoever with the bomb throwing incident.
Kwesi Pratt also mounted the stage in classic fashion, and this was 1992, 34 years ago.
I can report a tribunal officer. Sir, the greatest says, don't let us come to the horse before the cars. As we explained to the professor, that when we are sitting here, it's based on procedure and law. And we just don't do things at random.
Now, the second one is that I am deeply convinced that the state is not interested in the enforcement of law generally in this country. and that you have been dragged before this court because you are opponents of the government, and the government wants to use these issues to be legitimized. And there is evidence to that event. PNDC members have committed murder because of this. Any murder, which is a gruesome crime, goes unpunished in this country because you know that the person is associated with the PNDC. And there's a case in 1983 where the PNDC member picked up a rifle and shot 6 people dead. The case was reported to the chairman of PNDC and he did not find the to enforce the law. Now, why is the state interested in enforcing the law when it comes to a simple question of obstruction of the traffic? When panel members of the tribunal themselves have publicly admitted that the state government interference in the affairs of the tribunal.
About the panel that tries cases in the tribunal, this is how it works. The tribunal often has 3 members, with only one of them being a lawyer. Here is a video example of how the public tribunal system used to work in those days.
In relation to his client, application is granted. PW10 is recalled at the instance of prosecution in terms of their application. Full reasons for this shall be embodied in the final judgment in the case. PW10 is recalled.
Maybe Dr. Bawumia has a case in asking President Mahama to abandon this course.
The answer to congested courts is to strengthen the courts, more judges, more courtrooms, and digitized processes. It is not to build a second system of justice. Mr. President, your government commands one of the largest majorities in the history of the Fourth Republic. With such numbers, Parliament can pass almost any bill it wishes. Not everything that can be passed should be passed. The larger the majority, the greater the duty of restraint.
But also, recently, pollster Musa Dankwa has conducted a poll in which he says many Ghanaians are expecting the public tribunals to work and that many Ghanaians are happy about the return of the public tribunal. What do you think?
semye we yase na drinwa nopa ewia na brenyina se wuri bompa ya kai Ghana sufre unyankopon fakana shenisa eno na uyo mambapa eno na odo ma woman eno arana yerishe odo ma woman eno adeya odo ma woman eno arana yerishe odo ma woman eno adeya.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to this Thursday edition of Good Evening Ghana. It's always a pleasure to present the show to you. And tonight we have a lot to say about Ghana. If you have been following the news and you are interested in our mining resources and you are interested in our forex exchange and all of that, you would have heard the tussle between Edemus Mining and the Ministry of Lands. And we have had so many conversations since yesterday and today with lawyers, with officials from the Ministry of Lands. Indeed, Pakwesi Shandoff, who speaks for the Ministry of Land, is in the studio today, and he's going to tell us what is the ministry position on it. There's been concerns even raised by Kenneth Ashigbe, who is the president of the Chamber of Mines, etc., etc. That's our first story. We're going to deal with it in toto and in extenso. Now, though, look at this video. Have a look at this video. Do you like it? See it.
Ama abunda na gani da yake yi nan very grateful inda wani ne kamar yadda malami ya fito ya nemi apology da ya kamata shi ma da muke sai ma muka zo police department da nemi apology amma shi ne kamar still na ina so ya explain kanshi ne shi ma amma abunda na gani da yake yi nan very grateful inda wani ne kamar yadda malami ya fito ya nemi apology da ya kamata shi ma da muke sai ma muka zo police department da nemi apology amma shi ne kamar still na ina so ya explain kanshi ne shi ma ina so ya explain kanshi ne shi ma ina so ya explain kanshi ne shi ma amma abunda na gani da yake yi nan very grateful inda wani ne kamar yadda malami ya fito ya nemi apology da ya kamata shi ma da muke sai ma muka zo police department da nemi apology amma shi ne kamar still na ina so ya explain kanshi ne shi ma
So much for religious bigotry. That's our second story tonight on Good Evening Ghana, and it's a pleasure. Welcome aboard. Okay, so we hit the touch screen first and foremost at 26 minutes past the top of the hour, 9 o'clock, and we are dealing with the case of a Ghanaian mine, Edemus, Adamus, etc., etc. My touch screen partner tonight is Michael Angelo.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
What are people saying on campuses and young people saying about this Ademus thing? What are they saying?
It's quite interesting. There seems to be the case of some sort of perceived targeting of a Ghanaian company. So that there's a company that has been targeted for political reasons or otherwise, such that it is losing its license and losing its opportunity to work, provide employment for Ghanaian youths, Ghanaian older people, whatever the case.
But are people happy that a Ghanaian company, if it's violating some law, they should be left? Because we are here on this platform, everyone knows that we are advocating for Ghanaian companies. We've been doing that, whether it's NPP or NDC. But we always have to answer the question. So are you saying Ghanaian companies are doing something wrong, they should be left? What are they thinking about that?
There's a bit of a split, right? As understandably there would be. It should not be the case that because a Ghanaian company is doing something, they should be immune from consequences. But then that seems to be balanced against the objective good that a Ghanaian company is doing. So that seems to be the whole issue, the balance. Should we really do something that would affect the good a Ghanaian company is doing, even notwithstanding this issue of regulation?
Okay, let's get the story now. Let's get the story from, but they're going to put the story on, and yes. So this is what is Adamus Resources? So, oh no, did I change it? So Adamus Resources Limited is a Ghanaian gold mining company operating primarily in the Western region, with its flagship concessions at the Akango, Salman, and Nkrofo, all in the Western region. Incidentally, do you know what is interesting about this?
What is?
All of these names that I've mentioned are in the lands minister's constituency.
Oh,
the
really?
constituency called Elembele. Elembele is a hometown of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrofo is in Elembele. That's Nkrofo over here.
Sounds very familiar.
Yeah, Nkrofo is Elembele, and Elembele is Amakofiboa's constituency.
I see.
And Amakofiboa entered Ghanaian politics when the Elembele constituency had been held by what we used to call NPP-CPP, because it was held by Freddie Blay from 96, 2000, 2004, and I think it's 2008 that Amakofiboa picked it, and he's held it up until now. And Amakofiboa, when he picked it, he churned out in his campaign some negative against Freddie Blay. He called him Elembele Mugabe.
Wow.
And in those days, the whole world was about Robert Mugabe's extended stay in Zimbabwe and all of that. So that kind of worked. And so he won the election. Amakofiboa was staying in the United States before. Then he became Deputy Minister of Energy under Professor Mills. Then he became Minister of Energy under President Mahama. And then he went into opposition. He worked in Parliament. And then he came in 2025. And John Mahama, the president, appointed him as the Minister for Lands. So all of these Adamus Mining is in his constituency. So let's move on with the story. Then the company review. Adamus Resources Limited is a gold mining company. Location is Western Region, Ghana. Concessions at Akango, Salman, and Nkrofo. Ownership is Ghanaian owned and managed.
Very important.
So wholly Ghanaian owned and managed. Parent related entity is Nguvu Limited, also owned by a Ghanaian.
Yes.
And the core business is exploration, development, and production of gold. Its operations, what have we lost? Okay, operations is mining, leases, etc. We said that already. Production, historically, is one of Ghana's mid-tier gold producers, contributing to exports from the Western region. Employment provide jobs to local communities.
Also quite important.
Okay, so that's Adamus Mining. Now let's get to the story where the story is taking us right now. Okay, Adamus versus Amakofiboa. What do we know so far? All right, let's see it. What do we know? What do we know so far? Okay, did I skip something? All right. So the disputes between Ghana's Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and Adamus Resources Limited centers on the government's April 26th revocation of Adamus mining lease for the alleged breaches of mining laws, which Adamus insists was unlawful and politically motivated. Unlawful and politically motivated. I'm not sure about that. But I mean, here is John Mahama's government, which has done creditably in securing mines for Ghanaians, i.e. Ibrahim Mahama and Daman and all of that, which we came here to defend, that we have to give the mines to Ghanaians. The ministry maintains that revocation was regulatory, not a move to sell Adamus's assets. While Adamus accuses the minister of abuse of power and vows to challenge the decision in court. So on 26th April, Lands Minister, the Honorable Emmanuel Amakofiboa, revoked Adamus' license at Akango, Salman, and Nkrofo following Minerals Commission's investigations alleging breaches of the Minerals and Mining Act 2026. On April 27, the next day, Adamus issued a press statement rejecting the allegations and claiming it was not formally notified or given the statutory 120 days. So we have to go into the law to see if there is a 120 days in the Minerals Commission Act. Then in 26th of May 2026, Ghana Chamber of Mines questioned the revocation, citing selective enforcement compared to the other mining companies. But do you know what the ministry say about this? They say that a high-profile official of Adamus Mining is also the deputy at the Chamber of Mines. Ken Ashigbe is the boss at the Chamber of Mines. And tonight we'll be talking about Ken Ashigbe when we get to the second story on Galamsey viewers. But they say that Ken Ashigbe is the boss of the chamber, and his deputy is a high-profile manager of Adamus Mines. So they are thinking Chamber of Mines has been compromised one way or the other. Compromise may be a strong word, but it doesn't mean that they are wrong. Chamber of Mines will have more information than we do, wouldn't they? Interim Management Committee, IMC, Government sets up an IMC to oversee the mine. Pending review, Adamus allegedly failed to cooperate.
Yes.
Okay, so that will suggest to us, and Paco is here, he'll tell us later, whether Adamus had representation on the IMC.
Yes, but because, then on selective enforcement, I want to take us back to 2009, 2010. Do you remember there was news of a certain oil spill?
Once you say 2009, 2010, for political animals, our mind quickly goes to who was in charge, NDC, Professor Mills.
The NDC, okay. Professor Mills, his first term before his passing on.
Yeah.
So there was an oil spill by an American company named Cosmos, if we are allowed to mention
Yes, Cosmos,
name. Yes, and it happened, as the lawyers would say, in flagrante delicto, red-handed, basically. Now, there was a committee under the sector ministry that recommended that that company should pay a fine of about $35 million. Now, their representation, a certain law firm, notable law firm in Ghana at the time, refuted this and suggested that that committee, in fact, starting from the Constitution to all statutory laws, any subsidiary legislation, did not give the government, any ministry, any committee under a ministry, the power to issue any fines. And so they called it unconstitutional, a breach of laws, a breach of their rights as a company. Now, interestingly, the response of the government was to go back and forth, not to revoke their licenses, not to shut them down, not to attack them. And so, in light of this situation, where there is history of the government catching a company red-handed, as they would suggest doing something, the government was willing to negotiate, willing to let them meet whatever requirements they had to meet. Comparing that to the situation today, it seems a little bit like the case on selective enforcement of the law.
Okay, so you are kind of agreeing with the Chamber of Mines.
It
appears like that. Okay, let's get to the reasons that the Ministers' Committee gave, and then perhaps we can understand why he revoked the license.
Okay.
On August 10th, 2026, the Interministerial Committee submitted its final report affirming most breaches, that's breaches, Pakwesi will tell us what the breaches are, and uncovering additional defaults, tax arrears, unpaid royalties, unexplained gold exports variance. I am hoping that these tax arrears that they found, they got it from the Ghana Revenue Authority, because really, an IMC set up by the Minister of Lands shouldn't have a mandate to be checking tax arrears. Certainly not.
Yes.
But of course, an IMC set up by the Minister of Lands can ask the Ghana Revenue Authority that give us information on this company, and they may find it. So they say tax arrears, but they don't tell us the details, how much money is owed. I mean, from the grapevine, we have heard that the money they are quoting is 400 and 300 million cedis. But the Ghana Revenue Authority must tell us why they allow a company to owe 300 million cedis. We always hear these things. One day they break into a company and say they owe 1 billion. How did the Ghana Revenue Authority allow a company to accumulate up to that amount of money? So that we need a bit more investigation. Unpaid royalties. Now these royalties are paid to government, and the lands minister would have authority to look at unpaid royalties. Now, if we check the unpaid royalties, can we compare to other mining companies? And we can have a league table to show that Adamus is at the bottom of league table of not paying royalties, or that these royalties are paid. You know, these gold people, they have a chain. So they pick the gold, they do that, they come, and then they come and pay the royalties. So they will know the royalties at the beginning, whether it's a carried interest of 13% as is GMPC, whether it's this, whether it's that, and then they pay later. If that is what it is, then perhaps the ministry is being high-handed. If, on the other hand, it's a blatant dereliction of corporate responsibility to Ghana, then we will know. But they say tax arrears, unpaid royalties, unexplained gold export variances. Minister Boa upheld the revocation. This was on 10th August 2026. Now, 12th August 2026, Ministry clarified that Adamus assets were not for sale. Okay, so between the revocation in April and these August dates, there was a high-level meeting that is not set out in this chronology because it wasn't public. A very high-level meeting at the Jubilee House, chaired by a very important person about this matter. Adamus were there. Yes, we are coming to this. Adamus were there, and the ministry was also there. Adamus were there with their lawyers. The decision of the meeting, we are told, is that Adamus was told that they should respond to the reports, the IMC's report, and that the minister should consider their response. So after the minister considered their response, that's when he came back and affirmed that, having seen what Adamus has written, it doesn't hold water according to him. I mean, I don't know who is a court in this kind of situation to make these determinations, but perhaps let's see what happens. So Minister's action. He set up an interim management committee. Now, this is a separate document that we have drawn from what we are hearing from lawyers from Adamus.
Okay.
Minister set up an interim management committee to run the mine, which Adamus called unlawful. There was a high-level meeting where it was agreed, that's the meeting I'm referring to, where it was agreed that the minister should receive Adamus's response. Adamus's defense is that the company submitted responses, denied the allegations, but the minister upheld the revocation. So basically, when the minister looked at the Adamus report, he decided that he will affirm and uphold the revocation. No document was written to Adamus. They don't have any letter. If they do, Pakwesi will tell us whether the minister wrote to Adamus and said, we have seen your paragraph 1. We disagree with it. This is the evidence attached, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure whether they did that, but we'll get to know in a minute. Aftermath. Adamus insists allegations are false and are manufactured. So what are the violations of the minister that Adamus is alleging? They are saying that the due process consent, section 68 of Act 703, which requires a 120-day period before cancellation of mining rights, was ignored. Adamus argues, okay, fantastic. This is section 68. So Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, Section 68, suspension and cancellation of a mineral right. 2, that's 68(2). The minister shall, before suspending or cancelling a mineral right under subsection 1, give notice to the holder and shall in the notice require the holder to remedy a breach of the condition of the mineral rights within a reasonable period, being not less than 120 days. In the case of a mining lease or restricted mining lease, or 60 days in the case of another mineral right, and where the breach cannot be remedied, to show cause to the satisfaction of the minister why the mineral rights should not be suspended. So let's assume that the minister will go for the last one, that forget about 120, forget about the 60. It says, okay, the remedy cannot, the breach where the remedy cannot be remedied, the breach cannot be remedied. Yes. So assuming that Adamus is being told that they have done galamsey, you have already digged the ground, you have destroyed the water, so that cannot be remedied. In that case, they have to ask Adamus to show cause to the satisfaction of the minister why the mineral rights should not be suspended. Now, this to show cause here doesn't say it should be by letter, whether it should be by a meeting, whether it should be by a phone call. So I mean, the court will have to look at that. It's quite big. Here it says 120 days for sure. Let's stay with the document. It says 120 days first. Yes. Then if it's another type of lease, 60 days. If the breach is not remedied, and I don't know whether they go to the definition clause of the act to talk about what is a breach that cannot be remedied. So all of that is opened up. So it's a breach that cannot be remedied. For instance, somebody has died. Perhaps. That cannot be remedied. I think ecological concerns, perhaps. Most likely, because this is mining. And ecological concerns cannot be remedied. They can be. Reclamation. There are processes. Yeah, you can do reclamation, you can plant trees, you can do all of that. I didn't want to plant the trees and they still jailed him. I mean, we will never forget that. To show cause why to the satisfaction of the minister. Okay, let's get back to the document, unless you want us to look more at it. Okay. So what are the violations of the minister? Yes. That's the due process. So Adamus is saying that the 120-day period was not adhered to. The revocation was immediate, without recourse to a fair hearing. This is very important because you know that at law, there is something referred to as natural justice, where a principle known as audi alteram partem, where in any judicial or quasi-judicial hearing, a decision of this sort is going to be made and there's a failure of natural justice, that decision is void. It's unacceptable. So this is a concern. So if Adamus says that they were not consulted and then they were just given a revocation, that's a problem. Yes, that's all right. The company, Adamus, denies all allegations as false and contrived and claims selective application of law and political bias is what I'm really interested in. Is Adamus an MPP company? Oh. Because political bias will suggest that we are on different sides of the political divide and politics is not always partisan. Okay. It's not always partisan. Okay, that's interesting. Suspicion is being raised over Chinese investors being shown the site. So after all of this happened, what then brought the story to the front of the news is that photographs emerged from Adamus mine, where, and I'm going to show you some, where Chinese investors, and by the way, viewers, in the second part of this, we have the audio recording of the conversations between the Chinese and the Ghanaians. And when we play that audio, anyone will be able to appreciate why the Chinese were there. We are told that the Chinese come from, it should be World Gold Council, but the document of the forms they filled at the meeting, which we have photocopies of, says World Gold Organization. There's nothing like World Gold, and viewers can Google it. If you can, please Google World Gold Council and World Gold Organization. Perhaps the Chinese and their English, they wanted to say World Gold Council, but they said World Gold Organization. So that can be remedied. But on the document, the facts of the documents that they said World Gold Organization. So these are the Chinese who went there. Now, if they came from the World Gold Council, the World Gold Council does that. They can ask people to come. But the fact that they were citizens of China or Chinese people made everyone worried. And that is why the media and the social media all got very concerned that, why are you giving the Adamus mine to Chinese people? And that's what informed our flyer, which has created a lot of problem, that who owns Adamus mine? Is it the Ghanaian or it is Chinese? So this is the story. Is that all we know? Do we know some more? Tonight we are not playing any recording yet. Okay. Yes. There's discontent among Nzima chiefs over representation by non-gazetted cities. So when we put up the flyer, I got a call from the chief of Esiama. Esiama is a town there. He's very angry. He's livid. And he says that Adamus are doing their work. And what is the point? And I could hear the noise behind him. He had some queen mothers and chiefs, and they're all very worried. They are threatening to come over to Accra to collect the Adamus lease and go back and work.
These things are very sensitive. The locals are always very, they feel like it is a part of them, the mining that happens. So understandably, they would be frustrated.
But the allegations and the whispers is that there's galamsey in the area.
Oh, really?
And so, I mean, these galamsey allegations, when they come. All right, so I think that's what we know so far. Let's get onto the table and ask the one who has all the answers. Pakwesi Shandov is in the studio. Michael, I'll see you in a minute. And Uncle Pakwesi, good evening.
Good evening, Paul.
You've been very busy on this Adamus matter.
Exactly.
So what can you tell us?
Well, so Paul, first off, good evening to yourself and to our good listeners who are connected across the globe. On this particular matter, it's important to note that when it comes to the management of our natural resources, it is not done with recourse to anybody's personal interest or private sentiments. Everything is grounded and embedded in law. And so I'll start from the genesis, where we started from up to this particular point. As a routine practice, the Minerals Commission ordinarily would go to mining companies and, as it were, inspect their operations and familiarize themselves with the nature of their management and all of that. And so such an exercise was done earlier, and subsequent to that, a report was sent to the headquarters of the Minerals Commission in Accra. Now, that report raised very concerning breaches with respect to the operations of Adamus. They were clear enough, but the minister, in the interest of Honorable Makufibo, in the interest of due diligence, then decided to commission another, if you like, fact-finding party to go and validate and confirm the first reports that had come from the regional outfit of the Minerals Commission. So first, there was a regional report. So
this thing was routine.
Exactly.
Targeting
no.
So did you go to other sites?
Of course. And in due course, I'm sure when there are other legitimate concerns of that nature, that would,
But normally you don't tell Adamus that you are coming.
It's routine.
Okay.
Even if you are informed, it would not in any way obstruct the quality of the validation or the inspection that they're about to conduct. So it started at a regional level. The reports came to the minister. The minister wanted to validate it. Therefore, he commissioned, like I said, another team from the headquarters. They went, they came back, and indeed they brought the same report, which was, even if you want to...
What were the breaches?
I'm coming to that, which was even more staggering. The second report that came. And so, given the nature of the report, the obvious had to be done, which was the revocation, which was communicated on the 26th of April. Now, I'm sure, I don't think perhaps we could go through the litany of issues that, culminated in this particular outcome. But if you want to summarize all of them, the nature of the breaches, the first one, which perhaps we could also characterize as the principal one, is the fact that Adamus ceded portions of its mining concessions to other parties without recourse to the provision that demands express ministerial approval. I would want to...
like a sublease?
Exactly. I want to practicalize this a little. So let's assume that I rented a facility to you, a house for that matter, and the purpose of that transaction was for you to use it as a place of residence. Then in the course of time, you change your mind and say, well, you want to convert it to a factory or repurpose it for any other, desired objective. I mean, even in the realm of common sense, I think it is appropriate for you to revert to me, the landlord, and come and tell me that, look, you gave me this XYZ apartment, but I have, other plans. Then we can renegotiate the terms, and then I'll give you my approval. This is even very ordinary in the realms of common sense.
They found that Adamus had sublet part of the lease they
exactly
had.
To other miners without coming to seek prior approval from the minister.
The permission of the minister.
Without the permission of the minister.
I've seen this somewhere. I've seen this something without the permission of the minister somewhere. It's a good to me matter. I saw it.
Yes, without the prior express approval of the sector minister. So I'm summarizing also. That was one. Then you also have to look at their general operations.
From Adamus to those people, how was it evidence? Is there a document? Or is the practicality of they working there and you ask them, what are you doing here? They said, so and so said we should come here.
It's the practicality of the thing they are doing. And beyond that, indeed, I'm sure we could serve you a full copy of the report of the Chief Inspector of Mines. You would even observe at a point that those who the concession was established to, at a point they were arrested by the police. Law enforcement came for them. And then Adamus intervened and went to their aid at a point.
Evidence?
Yes, that is evidence. That's on record.
An officer of Adamus?
Absolutely. Officers of Adamus. All right. So
that means Adamus knew them. That's what that
precisely means. Because logically, if they didn't know them,
were they Chinese people? Those who were arrested?
Yes, some were Chinese. Some were Chinese. Some were not Chinese.
But why did the police agree to give them bail? Because Adamus came? Why?
No, the police didn't give them bail because Adamus came. I mean, it's a normal thing. You can't hold them in detention forever. So as for that, while investigations are ongoing, you can't keep them in custody forever. But the point is, it was Adamus who supported and facilitated their bailing or their release, so to speak. And that even is evidence enough that there is some kind of relationship between those individuals and then Adamus.
But how do you say Adamus gave them? Were they workers of Adamus or they got a lease? Or they got a sublease? Were they staff of Adamus?
No,
because if Adamus is in Accra or in Kumasi and they are told that your people have been arrested, they will naturally go to the police.
It's not their people. I'm saying that the concession that they had subleased, those who were working there, law enforcement came for them.
The sublease by document? Or we are guessing that it's sublease?
No, it's by, like I said, the practicality of the arrangement between them. And following conversations and, if you like, confirmations from Adamus, it was obvious that these were people who were now working for Adamus. That is incontrovertible.
Were they doing galamsey, those people? Or they were doing normal mining?
Illegal mining.
They were doing illegal mining?
Illegal mining
on
is...
Adamus's site?
On a site that... on Adamus's sites that Adamus had given to them without the approval of the minister, right? And that is also part of illegal mining. Indeed, when we talk about illegal mining, it's not so much about the environmental practice. If, for example, a concession is given to you and you step outside of that boundary, that equally constitutes illegal mining. But away from that, away from the subleasing without a prior ministerial approval, there was also the issue of their general environmental practices. That is the way they went about their mining, and that I must say it is a bit technical. So perhaps if we could apprise ourselves with the full reports, we would understand. But generally, it appeared that what they were doing was not in conformity with the laid down regulations that governed, mining. That governs mining in this particular country. And so the reports came, and the minister, based on the findings, therefore decided to revoke their license. That was on the 26th of April. So the conversation about they being prior informed, then indeed we can all agree that yes, in the interest of natural justice, you might have to listen to the other side before you take a decision. But then in practice and in certain instances, the minister, based on the depth and the gravity of the offense, especially when the offenses cannot be undone, so to speak, giving hearing prior or even giving them the 120 window, to remedy their offenses would be non-consequential because the offenses cannot even be remedied in the very first place. But look at what even happened.
Tell them at least. That
No, they were notified.
Before
they were notified.
The revocation.
Exactly. So after the notification, the next thing that happened was that they came to the ministry with a petition. And I recall that meeting, lucidly. They came with a petition to the effect that they were impressing upon the minister to temper justice with mercy, and that they were going to do, rights and rectify the issues. So the minister admitted the petition, constituted a committee to interrogate and diagnose the merits of the petition or otherwise. Around that same time, the minister also constituted the interim management committee to exercise oversight during that period. Now, that was way back in, if my memory serves me right, I think in the early days of May, thereabout. That was when the IMC was set.
So before the 26th April, Adamus knew that an IMC had gone there and had gotten a negative report.
Not an IMC, the Chief Inspector of Mines.
The Chief Inspector of Mines had gone there
and
gotten a
engaged
negative
them.
report of
Exactly.
And that they knew that. And they had come to the minister.
Yes.
With the petition.
Yes.
And all this happened before 26th April.
No. Let's create the chronology. So around 26th to 30th of March was when the Chief Inspector of Mines engaged them that, okay, these are the breaches that I have found, these are the irregularities that I've observed, and then he accommodated their concerns and their comments as well. So they were heard in that particular respect. I found XYZ against you. What is your view? What is your response to that? All of those were collated. Then it came to the table of the minister to now take a decision based on the recommendation of MINCOM. Then on the 26th of April, the decision was subsequently communicated.
Until then, you hadn't spoken to Adamus?
Until
the 26th of April?
No, I'm saying we had spoken to Adamus.
No, I just want to get a chronology clear. So, report came. Did you give the report to Adamus?
Yes, that's the point.
So, around which date was that?
So, that was between, I think, the 26th to the 30th of March, between that period.
So in the last week of March, you engaged Adamus and told them that this is what has happened.
Exactly.
And they brought a petition.
No, they brought their response. So when you make the finding, in the interest of fair hearing, you have to let them understand that these are the observations that we have made with respect to your operations in this particular enclave. And that is exactly what was done. All right. Then their views were accommodated. But after their views were accommodated, then the Minerals Commission goes to now analyze it again and makes a recommendation to the minister for onward revocation. Then after the revocation, they came with a petition that indeed they had been engaged prior, and they admit that the truth of the matter is that there are issues to be discussed, and therefore they are asking the minister to temper justice with mercy. So the minister then said that, okay, under the circumstances, I would constitute a committee to look at it and see if we can, find, some grounds to, come to perhaps a more desirable outcome or conclusion. It is within this period of the establishment of the IMC and the examination of the petition that even more violations emerged. For example, the case you were making about the non-payment of royalties and all of those.
Did Adamus have a seat on the IMC?
Yes, but it wasn't a controlling seat on the IMC. Okay, the IMC, I cannot recall the membership with exactitude.
But about how many people?
But I think it was about my memory.
So they're taking over management.
Yes.
So manager, this manager, that manager.
Exactly.
So everybody, Adamus step aside.
Not everybody.
Okay, some were kept.
Practically, it cannot even be everybody because they have been involved.
Yeah.
They know the ins and outs and all of that. So it wasn't everybody who was necessarily set aside. All right, it was done because you needed to even make some more findings. You can't let everybody, essentially go away. And it was within that period that more, and I would, for some, I think I would have to read it so that our viewers would understand and really know what had happened. So, Paul, within this period, look at what the IMC, for example, was unable to unravel. That, number one, Adamus was in default of the payment of its mineral rights fee to the tune of $2,563,866.
Default to who?
To the state. Yes, to the state, with no proposal to make payments to the Minerals Commission. That's number one. Then again, it was determined that Adamus was in default of payment of mineral rights to the to the Mineral Income Investment Fund and the Ghana Revenue Authority to the tune of 86 million Ghana cedis. So let's say 86,786,275.20 Ghana cedis. Then this was also equally concerning. Now the IMC was able to discover that there was a variance of 2,914.44 ounces between quantity of gold exported by Adamos to that declared to the Ghana Revenue Authority. So there was a variance. Yes, the quantum of gold that
declaration.
There was an under declaration to that effect. In line with that, there was also evidence that proved that their own financial statements, Adamos's financial statements audited, showed that the company had transferred an amount of $224 million, to related parties, both within outside Ghana, as at the end of 2024. Okay, and then also it was very clear that their financial statements also showed that an amount of $123 million, US dollars was transferred to Sigala Mining Corporation SA, Sanico 1 and 2, all in Mali.
These are subsidiaries of the company.
All in Mali, yes, all in Mali between 2020 and the year 2024. Also, they refused, during that period, they refused to submit their documents such as their gold production book, the contract service agreements with third parties, and their corporate social responsibility record from 2020 to date. So if you examine all,
but what's wrong with they transferring money to another company of theirs in Mali or Senegal? What's wrong with it?
Really, it has to do with the understatement of their profits. It is how much.
So that was done to obscure their profits. Is that what they're coming
exactly? And all of these didn't come during the initial examination by the Minerals Commission. They came in the course of the IMC's tenure.
So IMC kind of took over the company.
Yes,
sort of.
yes. So
the company had a representation.
Yes, there was a representation.
A senior one.
In fact, actually, at the very outset, the company questioned the authority of the IMC that it was not grounded in law for them to assume the management of the company within that period, and so there was very little collaboration. To put it mildly, there was no real collaboration between the management of Adamos and then.
So the IMC went into a hostile takeover.
We cannot call it a hostile takeover.
But it's very similar. If they are challenging the legal authority,
it's not,
then they'll boycott the IMC.
If the goal or the objective was to be hostile, then perhaps maybe the minister would not have entertained the petition in the very first place. I decided to entertain the petition. I have grounds to revoke. I have indeed revoked. But then I'm saying, let me give it a second thought. But in the meantime, because you are being investigated, or we are scanning your petition and diagnosing it, you cannot be managing your own affairs, because clearly there will be an issue of a conflict of interest.
During the IMC period, did Adamos produce gold?
We do not have, the record doesn't reflect that. I cannot speak to.
So then maybe if Adamos didn't produce gold, then perhaps the IMC was more of an auditing company, auditing effort. Because if you take over Metro TV and you take over the management, Good Evening Ghana will continue, Good Morning Ghana will continue. The manager, MD will change, maybe head of finance will change, but the company will continue running. So if in the period of the IMC, Adamos did not produce gold, then can we really call it an IMC? Unless the IMC decided that, I will say that, stop production, let's look into the books first. Maybe, I don't know. But otherwise, it sounds uncomfortable. If I am the Adamos, it sounds like a coup d'etat on my company.
It's absolutely, Paul, it's absolutely not a coup d'etat. Okay, because workers were still at post.
Yeah, they were paid.
Yes,
how many months did the IMC? Is the IMC still working today?
No, the IMC is no longer working.
How long did they work? What was their mandate?
So their mandate was very simple. Pending the determination, the final determination of the petition, they were supposed to, stay affairs.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Pending the final determination.
So, at which point did they decide IMC should leave or should be dissolved?
Who decided? Adamos?
No, you are saying the IMC is no longer there. When did they get dissolved?
Oh, I think that was in the latter parts of. Memory tells me right. Latter parts of July. It's very close in of July.
What was the decision? What animated it? What brought about the decision to dissolve the IMC?
Because they had basically completed their work.
Which was what?
Which was to go into the the operations of Adamos, and then you see, it's also important to put on record that the issues of Adamos also stemmed from some allegations that had even been made against them, from persons in the jurisdiction, the area where they were operating. So the IMC said, look, let us look at all of these issues. The very reports that was initially used as the basis for the revocation and all other relevant matters. Now we have an opportunity to really see the inside of their operations. Let's see, are there breaches? Are there violations? Are there irregularities? What are the issues that are not being the matters that are not being properly attended to? The IMC did all of that, and they came with the conclusions that I have highlighted.
But the Minerals Commission, don't they have up-to-date information on all their, I can call them clients, those who hold their licenses? Doesn't the Minerals Commission have up-to-date information? Do you need an IMC to go in and find out, etc., etc., etc.? I mean, I don't know. The National Communication Authority has all the information on Metro TV today. They know how many adverts we have played. They know everything we're doing. They don't need an IMC to come here and find out. I'm hoping the Minerals Commission has, because mining is a lot more money than television.
Exactly.
Don't they have it?
It's a confirmation and validation process. Because, again, if we go back to the trajectory, you remember I said that there was a regional report from the regional office at Mincom that had come to the fore. Then the minister, in the interest of fairness and prudence, decided to commission another fact-finding, team, so to speak, to validate what the regional outfit had done. Then all of those were done. It became apparent that, look, we have to take some, very serious action. The action was taken. They brought a petition. So it was just a matter of, let's see if we are wrong. We've taken a decision. And in that process, of course, there was another window that was open for, the Minerals Commission to, see more things. For example,
if the minister had told Mineral Commission, come to my office, bring me a file on Adamos, they wouldn't have found all these?
No, they would have found them.
So why were they sitting down and doing nothing?
No, that's what I'm saying, that it was a matter of validation. When I say validation, I want to explain it clearly.
So you are guessing to us that these were matters that were known, but they wanted to actually confirm.
Exactly. That's the point I'm making. Validation. So
as we sit here, Minerals Commission knows the state of affairs of Mine X, Mine Y. They know Akunta mining. They know it. They know everything. They don't need an IMC to go in and find out there's been tax violations and the declaration of gold. Gold exports is done by who? Bank of Ghana? You are talking about the variances in the amount of gold they have exported. Who do they make that report to? As a company of the mining
that is declared to the Ghana Revenue Authority.
Yes, the gold export is declared to the Ghana Revenue Authority. So the undervariations were made to the Ghana Revenue Authority.
Yes.
So the Ghana Revenue Authority is the institution that told the IMC that we have experienced undervariation. But they didn't know it until the IMC was established.
Great. So this is the point. You see, when you go in there like that, and let's be very maybe practical and fair. When you are outside, perhaps there's a limit to the extent of information that you may have, as compared to when you now come into the thick of affairs. So it is not the case that during the period the Minerals Commission has been in oblivion. Absolutely not. Except that now the matters became clearer, plainer, and then you had evidence to actually...
So the Ghana Revenue Authority today, they don't know how much gold Akunta Mining has exported. They were waiting for an IMC, then they'll come and tell us there has been variation. They don't know it. No. This is such a precious mineral that is...
it's not. That's not the case. I think I'm saying the IMC came following the petition, right? If the IMC, if there was no petition, of course, the internal checks and the measures and the lenses of scrutiny would have worked. But there was a petition, so now you needed to...
So they acted on the petition?
Yes, you needed to know that we have not done the things that you have...
And the petition said that the things you say we have done, we have not done
We have not done them. We have not done them. So now...
So Minister says, now you come along with us.
Let's come
Open your book, let's show you where you have done it.
And then, exactly.
You know, I'm asking these questions because there's allegations of political bias and targeting, unfair targeting. And this can relate to unfair targeting. There are many mines in Ghana. One Adamus mine is there. Minister says, I'm coming. They come, they say that you are violated. IMC, they set up an IMC. We say we won't cooperate with the IMC. IMC goes in and comes and says that, oh, GRA says that you owe them this. This one says that you owe them that. That one says that you owe them that. But the GRA, if people owe them this under declaration, which is so significant, and they've been transferring as much as 224 million United States dollars. I don't know whether the word is illegal, but irregularly. If they have irregularly transferred as much as $224 million, Ghana Revenue Authority didn't tell us. They didn't know about it. They have not taken any action against Adamus. As at today, the Ghana Revenue Authority has not taken any action against Adamus on a 224 million United States dollars irregular transfer to companies in the West African sub-region. That's difficult to swallow, Pakwesi.
Well,
that's difficult to swallow.
Not to hold brief for the GRA, but let us assume without admitting that indeed prior to now, that information was not in the knowledge of the GRA. Substantively, we know it now. And action has
so the revocation,
but the revocation. I wanted to respond quickly to the accusation of political interference and targeting. This is not because I work with the sector minister. Normally in fact,
those who talk about targeting say that targeting an innocent Ghanaian woman. And it evokes a lot of emotions.
Absolutely
a
not.
Ghanaian woman.
It was just recently that a mine was handed over to a Ghanaian entity, all right? And indeed, the ministry over the period has been very, very concerned about, Ghanaian outfits in the space. That is why now we have even tightened the local content rules and all of that. It is not a case that the minister, Honorable Kofi Boah, would want to target anybody. It is on the face of the violations as were unraveled during the inspection. Indeed, you see, and I think there is also a conversation we must have, Paul. The fact that we encourage the participation of Ghanaian companies does not mean that we would treat them softly in the event of breaches. Okay, because we're talking about local participation doesn't mean that there's also local sympathy. Indeed, if you are giving opportunity to, the local outfits, hold them to the same standards of compliance as well. And so this was not targeted. I want to show you two entities. Whose licenses have been revoked, large-scale licenses, whose operations were revoked pretty much recently. For example, in September thereabout, you have that of Narawa Mining Company Limited.
Is it a local company?
No, it's not necessarily a local company. Then again, you had here Hongui Mining and Amenfi Mining Company Limited. Their licenses were equally revoked on similar grounds, and it's a litany of them. We can, go on and on and on. So it is not like perhaps maybe there may be other reasons why Adamus has become prominent, and that is more topical. But this has been happening across board, irrespective of the owner, the parties involved, or the operating stakeholders.
Tell us about this meeting that was held, a high-level meeting at Jubilee, where we hear it was decided by the important people at Jubilee that the ministry should receive Adamus's response from their lawyers. That suggests that the high-level meeting noticed that Adamus's response had not been taken into consideration. Should we go away with that opinion?
Paul, the meeting you speak about, I have no knowledge of that meeting whatsoever. A meeting...
You haven't been briefed?
No. I don't know about any such meeting whatsoever. That a meeting was held and the directive was that the ministry should admit the response.
Adamus should send the response to the ministry the committee's report, or the report that came from the mine. The report that alleged the breaches, the violations, and all that. Adamus should respond to it.
I'm not aware of any such meeting. In any case, and this is very hypothetical, I'm saying it tentatively. In any case whatsoever, during the period of the interrogation of the petition and all of that, Adamus, like I'm saying, they were engaged, they were contacted. So their views had already been incorporated in the final outcome. But I'm saying I don't know about...
What about Chinese people showing up? And that's where the issue is so worrying. That days after the revocation, Minerals Commission officials go with the Chinese people. We have some tape recordings that we are not playing tonight. But what was that about?
So let's put on record that it is routine practice for prospective investors to want to familiarize themselves with... if you like, the places that they are interested in, or the areas that they want to go and put their investments into. That should be understood as routine practice. And this particular one was one of them. Indeed, it wasn't only Adamos that the said Chinese visited. They visited a couple of other mining companies, in that particular enclave. And so the report that came that government had now brought in Chinese 24 hours after the revocation of, the final revocation, I should say, of Adamos' license is one that I have had cause to say on other sister platforms that it should be thoroughly dismissed, because nothing like that has happened. As we speak, the mine has reverted to the Minerals Commission. Is currently in the custody of the state until such a time that the future of the mine will be determined. That is going to be the status quo.
So the Chinese people were there to look at what?
They were simply there to, as like I was saying, they were exploring their investment interests. And I'm saying it wasn't only Adamos that they visited at all. It was really
but
not.
Why did they visit Adamos at all?
And
Adamos belongs to someone. There's a revocation that is being contended. Why are Chinese people there?
Because there's a revocation that is being contended.
Yeah, it's being contended. So the
there's a
contest
possibility.
is not over.
No. So there's the possibility that it will not. It would be finally.
That the challenge will fail.
Absolutely.
And if it fails, we are still giving it to Chinese.
No, we're not giving it to. We are not giving it to Chinese.
No, what are they doing? Because the locals were very upset about that.
No, Paul, I'm saying that they were exploring, like I said, their investments interest. It wasn't only Adamos. Other companies, they visited other companies as well.
But shouldn't it be that Adamos should not be part of that? Because Adamos is in dispute.
Because it is in contention.
Yes, in dispute.
No, but the contention could, I'm saying the contention could go in any way.
But can't we find Ghanaian to give? Why are we giving it to Chinese?
Nobody has given anything to anybody in the first place.
Why are Chinese? So if tomorrow I want to come to you and go and explore some mines, would you take me?
Absolutely. Why
so
not?
Any Ghanaian can say, any businessman.
Anybody.
So I have a businessman, Kofi Danso, he's in Ajuso.
Yeah.
He's been telling me that he wants to go into mining.
Absolutely.
So I can bring him and you take Kofi Danso around and we go.
Absolutely. Because it's open to all, basically. All right, and like I'm saying, there's not been any finalized decision even on the future of Adamos.
But the young people, they are frightened. Those who are for Adamos, the Siama chief, they are frightened when they saw the Chinese people.
So when it comes to the sentiment of the locals, as much as we appreciate those who are in solidarity with Adamos, it's also important to put on record that there are even more people who have equally backed the revocation. And then
because they don't like something about Adamos?
Exactly. So I mean, that is why sometimes
you can show us evidence of that. Maybe we'll have to go on the ground.
Paul, you can see the reports. I mean, it was widely reported how there was wide cheers and jubilation following the revocation and all of that.
Was it organized, politically organized?
It wasn't purely organic. It was the people and you see the transgressions, for the want of a better word, or the sins of Adamos didn't even start now. It is something that had been there. So when the revocation came on the 26th of April, I think I would share some of the reports with you. A lot of the locals came, they were applauding the minister, but of course you get those who would equally back Adamos.
Okay.
And that's
I have to. My producer is urging me, but I have to apologize to my producer. The interview with Pakwesi is generating so much interest. Producer, allow me a short time to finish it. Now, Pakwesi, this is a lawyer. He says his name is Patrick Bam. He's writing to me from Kumasi. He says responses sent by Adamos after the directive by the president for Adamos to be given a hearing. Okay. He says Adamos was never heard before the revocation on 26th April. Definitely not. This is Kwame Ban. He says Adamos was never heard before the revocation on 26th April. Definitely not, he says. The notice of revocation, he says, itself makes it clear that this was not done. He moves on. And Adamos petitioned the minister to temper justice with mercy. It's a question. You have the letter?
Yes,
okay.
It's more than, no, Paul, I think you can, if we can.
Let me move on. He says that they actually complained. He says that what you are calling temper justice with mercy is that they, Adamos, actually complained they were not given the notice, weren't heard, and denied allegations. So the decision to be reconsidered.
Paul,
this was what is in their
story
petition.
Was published even by City News and all the media houses who were there.
I can pull it
was
off.
Not, yes. They came
then they said the relevant question is, in all this, do you see reliance on any provision of the Minerals and Mining Act by the minister? In everything that the minister has done, has he referenced his authority out of the law? He says there was none at all, the 21 days. Okay, he says all these petitions by Adamos for a hearing and the subsequent giving of the reports of the Minerals Commission for Adamos to comment on came after the revocation of the lease, and that he says this is manifestly wrong. Okay, so let's look at another one. It says that, good evening, Paul. Wontumi can sublease according to the prosecution and judge without seeking the approval of the minister and can be jailed. But Adamus can also sublease without the approval of the minister and no prosecution. That's what somebody's asking. Wontumi cannot sublet according to the prosecution and the judge without seeking the approval of the minister and may be jailed still. Still, Adamus can also sublease without the minister's approval and there's no prosecution. Sorry, Chairman Wontumi. Sorry. What do you say to this?
Yeah.
It's like a poem.
So
he says Wontumi did the same thing and he's in jail. Why is Adamus doing the same thing and they are not being prosecuted?
I think this chapter, this matter has only begun. The chapter has only started. Now is the revocation, right? So yes, their operation have been halted and frozen in that particular respect. The next one that would follow.
Somebody has sent a petition to me. Wow. How do people get my number? Okay, so he says that this is it says, please, for ease of reference, I've sent the petition to you. Okay, Mr. Producer, it's a 4-page petition. I'm sending it to you quickly. We can still look at it when Pakwesi is gone. We can't take all of his time today. This is just our first effort. So I've sent it to you, producer. The petition has come to my phone so that we can understand the tempered justice with mercy. It says, at no material time did Adamus concede it has breached. Okay, all right. It says the Ghana Revenue Authority never uses an IMC to chase people who are in default. The IMC was headed by somebody who had been dismissed from Adamus years prior, who is at loggerheads with Adamus. They have revoked the license of Northern Ashanti Mines, also belonging to Adamus owners. The target is Adamus. Nothing more, nothing less. Wow. Okay, the revocation license is what you sent to me, my friend. The one who said he sent me this is a notice of revocation. This is Minister for Lands Resource. Please find reference. I have the petition you refer to. Where is the petition? Okay, let me send it to you again, producer. There's another document I've sent to you. Look at it. It's 19 minutes past 10. The petition is also
time
here.
Is running very fast.
Yes. Let me send it. We can look at all that when you've gone. But Pakwesi, thank you very much for your time. I come in at short notice. Because we called him around 8 o'clock in the evening and he said, no problem, he'll come.
Paul, last words, maybe some 30 seconds.
Yes.
I want to put on record that whether in the large scale spectrum or on the small scale, ecosystem, when it comes to, mining, there are laws. And so we would want to plead with.
But that's what somebody said. What law are you relying on?
Players, I would have taken you through.
Is it in the Act? Is it Act?
Absolutely. But okay. I'll send that one to you.
Yes,
the specific, the basis, the legal basis upon which the action was taken. So thank you.
One more thing. I think whatever happens, we shouldn't take a mine away from a Ghanaian woman. Whatever happens.
Are you saying even
whatever happens,
even if there are flagrant violations,
whatever the violations are, if we come into the mining place now and we are sending people, I told you we have the recording of the interaction with the Chinese people. We'll play it on Tuesday. But if we send people there, you will find all of these violations for whatever it's worth. We can't take a mine from a Ghanaian woman. I mean, that's going to be major. We will go and complain to First Lady Lordina Mahama, and she will agree with us. We can't take a mine from a Ghanaian woman.
Is that not rather selectivity? Why you are placing emphasis on Ghanaian woman?
We have to protect the Ghanaian woman. In America, they will protect the American.
Or even if the errors are clear.
So long as it can be remedied.
This one cannot be remedied. Concessions had been given out already. Those who were brought on had already perpetrated the illegality. How do you remedy that?
Yeah, you can arrest the people. You can punish the people who gave the concession. But to stop the process of the work that a Ghanaian woman is doing as a minor, I think this is...
Maybe we can agree to disagree.
All right, we'll leave it here. Viewers, we'll take a short break. When we come back, more fire on Good Evening Ghana. Thanks for watching. Stay with us. We'll be back with the religious story, and we have MPP National Delegate Congress this weekend. We'll be back soon.
Mommy, good morning.
Good morning, my son. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Mom. How about you?
I'm fine.
Joe, I just saw your mom doing her usual morning routine. Like, it was just 2 weeks she underwent a major colon surgery.
Bro, see, my mom is doing perfectly fine, and we're all excited about it. It was minimally invasive surgery, and the recovery has been very fast.
Minimally? Hey! No, wait. What do you mean by that?
So they offered my mom a laparoscopic colon surgery. Laparoscopic colon surgery, which we accepted. It turned out it was equally safe with a very fast recovery time, and the cost involved too was very, very reasonable. She was discharged 3 days after the surgery, and you can see her, she's on her feet again.
3 days?
Just 3 days, bro.
Mean Tuber Hospital, first Ghana colorectal center, aimed to serve a peculiar health need.
Madam, I'm looking for Abna.
Abna, there's someone looking for you.
Madam, please, where's Abna?
Abna, yes, ma'am. Is this who you are looking for?
Madam, please get me Abna. Please.
Della. Abna, bra.
Oh, Abna. If it's not Abna rice, please eat any other.
Abna rice. And Nijin Kwa. FDA, Ajay Kratz, way that's
Finding my dream apartment in just 2 days was a breeze with 7terragh.com. Looking for your next home, the perfect piece of land, or the best commercial property for your business? Are you worried about sending money home for property and finding nothing when you return? Well, worry no more. 7terragh.com is just a platform to find prime lands, perfect properties, or vibrant real estate development at the click of a button. 7terragh.com is your go-to property listing platform that allows you to register, list, rent, buy or sell, and connect with correct agents. With our AI-powered smart search, personalized dashboards, verified agent connection, and interactive property maps, all your property needs have been made easier. Check us out on 7terragh.com or contact us on 0302-998-246 or 0561 032 252. 7terragh.com, powered by MNC Properties.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to a mammy man for Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is a hobby, a man is swing, and a sansu mama hoto so a will bedroom.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.
Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Today's class is going to be an exciting one. Now, who can share an unforgettable moment in their life? Okay, Asempa.
I'd like to talk about my first time. It was her natural look, complemented by her favorite green silky apparel that caught my attention. I have to say, she automatically possessed me with her smile, which exposed her beautiful white teeth. That's not all, her enduring signature perfume could be smelled from afar. Madam, why do you look so surprised? My first time with her was special and irresistible. I'm talking about Cindy Rice. Cindy Rice can be found in selected supermarkets nationwide.
Cindy Rice, sweet aroma, great taste. This advert is FDA approved.
abina biwa say wo dia wo ba beje wo makacho safa wo bome sabe empanyi say aboane fa kokwaye no eno de ne ho twetwirisie UVA Motors wadawro ma eni say me bia Benz musa na o chale age Benz nigga kasa tinti we and top onko betra se me onko bla 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 betra se
EVA Motors specializes in the sale of quality foreign imported vehicles, all backed by genuine and authentic documentation. Visit us at Dansoman Runabout, behind the Gulf Filling Station, for trusted vehicle deals and excellent customer service.
Charlie, how do you see the car? Can you solid? Can you genius? Yeah, man, I'm Dubai. Yeah. EVA Motors, get your best deals and say crack it. Crack.
Can he tee up someone in red?
Do not say!
That's who goal is for. I be the real goat. Sam, what's the real goat?
Who is the goat? Ghana Jollof or Nigeria Jollof?
You are lying. Ghana Jollof.
We are talking about BET. Except be the goat, huh? My guy, he be the goat.
Though our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof, Alomo Bitters always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment.
Proudly produced by Casa Preco PLC. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 years. Not recommended for pregnant women and lactating mothers. Don't drink and drive.
This advert is FDA approved.
This is the old way. Let me show you a new and a better way. EduPack.
EduPack?
Yes, EduPack. A GS approved and supported initiative for all first year students going to SHS by Prospectus Ghana Limited. Now you don't need to go to the market. All your trunks, mattresses, pillows, including plastic chalkboards, are all waiting for your child at the school. Note, all our wooden chalkboards are being changed to plastic ones to avoid bedbugs.
You can also register by dialing *713*821# following the prompts, or you can visit www.edupackgh.com and tap register. You can also register at any ADB branch near you at a very affordable price. EduPack, approved and supported by GES.
Metro TV, Original TV, Original FM and Metro Digital, under the auspices of the Office of the Chief of Staff, proudly present the Clean Conference 2026. Theme: Assessing Ghana's progress towards UN SDGs Agenda 2030. SDG 6, Clean Water and Sanitation. SDG 7, Clean Energy. And SDG 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. Friday, 21st August 2026, 9 a.m. at the City Conference Hall, University of Ghana, Legon, Accra. With just 4 years to achieve the UN SDGs 2030, how far has Ghana come? The answers begin with one national conversation, the Metro and Original Sanitation Conference, with the Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Debra. In attendance will be the Gamanche, His Royal Majesty King Takiteko True II. The Clean Conference, bringing together government, development partners, industry players, academia, civil society, and all Ghanaians. Change is not only in conference rooms, so there will be a cleanup exercise on Saturday, 22nd August 2026, also led by the Chief of Staff. Join thousands of volunteers for this massive cleanup exercise across the major streets of Accra. Metro Clean Conference, Wahuni Diema or Maini Tumpong.
Your boy, hello ya, clock it.
Hey, who was that? Who's saying Choboya? Who's that?
Okay. Welcome back to the show, viewers, and let's get to serious matters. I'm receiving tons of text messages over this Adamus mining stuff. Okay, you said you had a question for Pakwesi. What did you want to ask her?
Yes, I did. I also wanted to find out if Adamus mining license has been cancelled. How do they expect the company to establish a mining to pay? Sorry. Nana also wanted to find out if Adamus mining license has been cancelled. How do they expect the company to establish a management plan to pay off its taxes, settle employees' wages, and meet other obligations? Okay.
They are saying that taxes that they should have paid, if there's anything like that. Okay. What are people saying about that?
A lot of comments coming from the Adamus mining discussion. This is coming from Yao Febri. He says, as a country, we want Ghanaians to dominate ownership of the mining sector. Therefore, Adamus Resources, which is a Ghanaian-owned mining company, should be given amnesty to correct any wrongdoings or breaches in the mining laws, if there have been any. The Minerals Commission, EPA, and other relevant institutions are there to guide and regulate mining companies to ensure that they operate in accordance with the guidelines stipulated in the mining laws. Therefore, if Adamus Resources has breached the laws and there is a 120-day grace period for rectification before the revocation of its mining lease, it shows that there should be collaboration between the government and the company to resolve these issues. A government that is committed to supporting indigenous Ghanaian mining companies to grow, expand, and explore more Ghanaians should collaborate with Adamus Resources to ensure that the company does the right thing, rather than revoke its mining lease and allow Minerals Commission to take over the company, only for the people to accuse the government of bringing Chinese nationals into the mine. Oseitutu says, I'm deeply concerned about the growing dominance of the foreign companies in Ghana's economy, while our own local businesses continue to be overlooked. If we are going to hand over our vital national resources, priority should be given to Ghanaian-owned companies that will keep the profits, jobs, and developments right here at home. We need to prioritize local ownerships and support indigenous businesses to grow and compete effectively. Otherwise, we risk gradually losing control of our country's economic future. Musa says, good evening, Ghana. Mr. Paul, you are doing an excellent job. Keep educating the masses. Watching you live from Wale Wale in the Northeast region. Amos Wilson says, waiting for Mayor Senyo, the incoming NPP Voter Regional Youth Commander. And finally, coming from Nana Owusu, he says, Paul, it seems the negotiations concerning Adamus were conducted behind the scenes in a personal level, rather than allowing the relevant agencies to do their jobs. Should the minister have been involved in the cancellation of the mining license? Now the government is the one losing revenue. Again, compared to the Wontumi case, why has this matter been put on the back burner? And when are they going to reclaim the so-called lands? Why will the Chinese suddenly show up at someone's mine? We know how you operate. The Chinese should not be allowed to visit the Adamus site. Paul, please ask this gentleman what type of investment were the Chinese expressing interest in. The Adamus site should not have been subjected to such a visit. Thank you very much, and over to you, Paul.
All right. Let's get on to the contest. And this weekend, the New Patriotic Party is... we will do the religious story. We just want to get our interviews out of the way, and then we get on the touch screen and do the religious story. So producer has given me 5 minutes each for 2 interviews coming up. One is with Senyo, who is going to run in for National Youth Organizer, Volta Regional Youth Organizer. Senyo is here. He's a big member of the MPP communications team nationally, but now he wants to go into the NPP's hell, the Volta region, where he's going to hell, political hell. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mean that Volta region is hell. I love going to Puerto. It's a very nice place to go. Nice place. The Lukopa, Sugakopa, Ajidome, those are my places when I go to Volta region. So don't get me wrong. These days, social media has become very crucial. Tomorrow somebody will say, Paul, I don't know what you said. Volta region is hell. I beg. I didn't say that. Go to Jelukopet, they'll tell you about me when I come there. All right, so he's going into the political hell of the MPP, which is Volta region, because the MPP gets very few votes from there. Since the Fourth Republic, 1992, the MPP has only won one parliamentary seat in about how many elections? 92, 96, 2004, 8, 12, 16, 2024. In all of those elections, the MPP has only won Hohoi, won by John Peter Ameo. He is going to go into the MPP's Hall of Fame because John Peter Ameo is the only one who in the MPP has won a parliamentary seat. Jamefe, is that his name? Jamesa, the former regional minister, came very close in, I think, 2016 or so. He came so mighty close.
Kofi Jamesi.
Kofi Jamesi, yes. Yeah. He came mighty close, and we're all hoping in the counting night, excited as Akufado's votes were climbing in the 2016 in Joe Anoche's room. We're hoping that Jamesi would also deliver at least one seat for the MPP, but that was not to be. However, 4 years later, John Peter Ameo delivered it, and 4 years later, he's lost it again. But Ashanti region is also voting this weekend, and it looks like Odiniho is poised for the victory, unless something very dramatic happens, and you can't. I don't know whether you can rule that out in MPP elections. Are you going to get me the photograph of Odiniho, please? Odiniho Koka. It looks like he is poised to grab the Ashanti Regional Chairmanship. I like the vibe. You know, Koka says that only God can stop him, and there's going to be a big deal at the Prempeh Assembly Hall on Saturday morning from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Is going to be a jamboree, and I know that Bafo-Ewa, the MP for Mensah South, will be there. Bantama Sensubuachi will be there. Obri Yeboah of Subin will be there. Adumako Befi will be there. Who else will be there? All the Ashanti MPs will all be there. I'm sure there will be some representation from other parts, but all over there's elections at this weekend, and by the end of the weekend, the New Patriotic Party would have completed its list for the regional executives, and they are going to be in the fighting front of the Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia 2028 contest. And Dr. Bawumia is very eager and he's waiting. And when that happens now, he will have the last ditch of his team, the last Lego fixing of his team as far as the region is concerned. And then on 3rd October, there will be the national election that brings it to an end. Thereafter, the members of parliament will be elected and the MPP will be very, very ready to put up a significant challenge to the presidency in 2028. Inshallah, by the grace of God, Mahamudu Bawumia would be elected in 2028. Anyway, it's now 14 minutes at top of the hour at 11, and Senor is here to tell me why he wants to go into the Volta region and become the national youth organizer. Senor, tell me about it.
Well, thank you very much. Good evening to you, Paul, and good evening to your cherished viewers, and especially good evening to my people, the delegates that are watching us this evening. In fact, they have been glued to their TV set. ASEM is the program not coming on. And I must say that I'm pleased and humbled to be welcome to your platform for the first time. And to the good people of the Volta region, you have your son who is here this evening to tell you why he wants to contest for the position of the Volta Regional Youth Organizer for the New Patriotic Party. Paul, it will interest you to know that over the years, when you look at the historical antecedents in terms of the vote, in terms of the votes that has been coming from the Volta region as far as the MPP is concerned, there seems to be a lot of depreciation since the era of elections. I have studied the Electoral Commission's data very well, and I can tell you, just within a period of, let's even concentrate from 2012 to 2024, you realize that the MPP's performance in terms of the youth base has not been that much. So, having studied that, I have been able to present to the delegates, I've been able to visit delegates in their homes, I've met them in their respective constituencies. I've explained to them that for us to be able to find a very good prospect in order to be able to grow our votes, there are models that we need to come out with. We don't have to wait till last minute. If we study the Ashanti region model, the NDC has been able to make impact for one or two obvious reasons. It is because they have been deliberate in doing that. And as a young man who wants to, steer the affairs of the youth front in the Volta region, I want to commit to seeing to it that every officer of the party, from polling station to influencers level, we will be deliberate in showing to you that we partner with the relevant bodies. Starting from now, between now to 2028, we have been able to, tailor out some of the which I don't want to put out over here. Paul, I believe strongly that if we do that, by the grace of the Almighty God, Almighty Allah, come 2028, we would be able to deliver victory. Because when you study the vote pattern, anytime the NPP gets 100,000 votes and above, the NDC loses in the voter region. The NDC loses. Yes.
So you are doing Operation Secure 100,000 votes and more.
Beyond, exactly, and more. So I am very confident that should we be able to do all that I have discussed with them over the few weeks, we would deliver victory as far as Dr. Alhaji Muhammadu Bawumia is concerned. So for me, coming in is just to see to it that the models are re-strategized. We re-strategize the models and go into the ditch to get those votes. We don't have to wait.
But do the people listen? I mean, when I go to Jalokope and I talk to them, they laugh at me that MPP man, MPP. Do they listen at all?
Trust me, Paul. I've engaged a lot of people who are naturally not MPP guys. And these are young people. The truth is that we've not been deliberate in tapping into the youth base.
Some people say that NDC has not done much to benefit Volta region. Is it true?
It is true. When you look at the history over quite a number of the projects that has been done in the region, it has been done by the NPP. The Ketasi defense.
Internal opponents of Akufo-Addo in the NPP have always told me that Akufo-Addo spent too much time and wasted money developing Volta region. And Akufo-Addo's philosophy was that this is part of Ghana. He's president of Ghana. He knows that they will not vote for him, but that doesn't matter. Is it true that major projects were delivered in
Major projects were delivered during the era of Nana Danko Akufo-Addo. And key among them is the Keta project, which has to do with the Keta Port project. It started from a kiosk, and the naysayers felt that it was not going to materialize. Paul, if you go there today, the Keta Port project, which is the administration block.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures of it. Because
it is a huge edifice. You know, the current General Secretary of the NDC, he was there to say that there was no need for us to erect such an edifice over there because the distance between Keta to the Tema Port is just 2 hours. So there was no need. But today, I can tell you the number of times they visited the place just to, appreciate the effort of what Nana Danko Akufo-Addo has done. So for me, I think that the NPP has done so much well as far as projects are concerned. You go to UHAS Phase 2, one of the best edifices we have in West Africa.
For a university.
Akufo-Addo built that. So it tells you very well that even though the region does not produce much, the party loves the region. And on that basis, I can tell you that the youth of the region, they love MPP. But as party members, we need to be very intentional in tapping into the youth base. If you look at Ashanti region, the NDC has been very intentional. I have been able to study their model. And I have presented myself that the young people of Volta region who belongs to the New Patriotic Party, give me the mandate. I will serve you and serve you diligently. And we will together deliver the victory for Dr. Alhaji Muhammadu Bawumia. Because if we refuse to tap into the youth base, because what do we see? We see the NDC come to the Volta region, all they say is Eyazu, Eyaza, but nothing to show for it. We are saying that we are a party of intellectuals, a party that understands what it takes to build people. Let us come with innovation. Let us come with strategy. And I believe that the young people of the Volta region, when this is offered to them, they would get attracted and join the party. So these are a few things that I believe strongly that are the reasons for which I have offered myself to serve the party in the region. I've heard a lot of people ask that, you are a member of the national communication team. Why have you chosen to go back? I've always said that you cannot be at the top when something is going wrong in your house. I felt that no, there is something going on at home. I need to get back, partner with my people. Let's re-strategize. Because we cannot continue to be using the old model. The old model is not working. Let's give it a different face. Let's give it a different look. And I believe that come 2028, you are here. I'll be back to sit here and tell you that indeed our strategy worked and we have to improve on that strategy. The reason I'm asking for the mandate to be given to me, come this Saturday in Manly School, where new executives for the region will be elected. The name again is Emmanuel Senyo Amakpelenu, number 2 on the ballot paper. Vote for me. as the energetic firebrand youth organizer that will give the NDC a run for their money in the region. Because even at the national front, they cannot fit me when they sit on the same set with me.
That's true.
So I believe strongly that I am the best foot forward when it comes to serving the youth front. Because one of the things I intend to do is to see to it that the days of mortgaging the youth of the voter region for votes, and when they get a vote, they leave them, will be over. We were deceived that 24-hour economy. Today, where is the 24-hour economy in the region? We cannot find it. I will be their voice. I will speak for them. I will question them. I will demand from them what they have to give to us. So these are a few things I want to tell the good people of the voter
region. That's fire. Voter region, please vote for Senor. Vote for Senor. Saturday evening, call me and tell me that Senor won. I beg you, tell it, this is too much fire. I can't deal with it. Wow. Okay, we have another interview, isn't it? Before we go to talk about the unfortunate religious story, I've received text message from senior Muslim clerics, Alhajis, who are telling me that they are working behind the scenes. We should go easy on that story. We will go easy on the story. We'll tell the people. But let me show you this montage. It's very sad. And we all have to offer 1 minute silence for the people who were brutally killed in this ununderstandable, beyond imagination accident that happened on the road. Have a look at this montage. We are so sorry. May they rest in peace until we meet again. And we commiserate with their families. We are so sorry. Okay, more text messages coming to us from the Ashanti region, and Kokofu supporters are asking that, hey, but why are you saying Koka alone? We are there. We'll do some Ashanti region on the touch screen in a minute. Let me just take this interview now for the museum that has been put together by John Hopkins. Can you tell us a bit about it?
All right, thank you.
Sorry, what's your name? Let me take your full name, please.
Yeah.
Doctor?
No, not doctor yet. Emmanuel John Aganzes Mawini.
Emmanuel John Aganze is also going to be a doctor very soon.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about the project.
So the project, which is the Museum of Healing and Reconciliation, is an extension of my PhD work, which focuses on what I call raided communities in northern Ghana. My research is on slavery and colonialism in Ghana and southern Burkina Faso, trying to understand how memories of the slave trade, colonialism is shaping identity formation within these raided communities in Ghana. So I've done 2 years of extensive field work, and it's that field work, engaging with the families that lost their relatives during the slave trade and slave trade, that informed this idea of having a museum of healing and reconciliation, one to center the North within the global conversation of reparation, but also to create a platform for the African descendants to connect with the very communities that the ancestors were taken from.
I get it. So now tell us, let me just ask you some of these questions. This is a very interesting PhD you are doing.
Yeah.
Why do you think, what has that got to do? Somebody asked, what has that got to do with the price of Kenke? Why are you spending a PhD on sentiments about colonialism? Anthropologists and sociologists will understand it, that is a very important aspect.
Yeah.
But by and large, in Ghana, we don't relate to those things. Can you ground it? Why is that connected to the price of petrol tomorrow?
Just to make a disclaimer, it's not actually a Johns Hopkins project. I'm a student at Johns Hopkins, but it's not the school's project. It's my own research project that I'm working on. I mean, you know, history, we have been shaped by history, and of course, they see the past shape the future. And so if you look at the effects today, you're having conversation on reparation because it matters a lot today. There are people who are still living the trauma of what happened 100 years ago, 50 years ago. Of course, you might not have witnessed the events that happened, but you experience the consequence in terms of poverty, displacement, deprivation. All these are consequences of the past. So, of course, slavery is important because we need to understand the logic of slavery and the slave trade to ensure that it doesn't happen, because the template for exploitation, colonial exploitation, is still there. So if we don't talk about it and discourage it, we're still going to have those experiences. It's the reason why we do have modern slavery, because people are learning from the template of exploitation that was used 100 or even 500 years ago to exploit our ancestors for their capital interests or economic interests.
Okay, so let me ask you, how did your doctoral research and field work lead to the creation of Museum of Healing and Reconciliation? If you can explain that.
Oh yeah, so I'm actually, it's my fourth year working on colonialism and slavery in Ghana, but I've spent 2 months or 2 years in what I call raided communities, and I've engaged families. I'm from Navrongo. My research is based in Navrongo, Mirgo, Zako in Burkina Faso, Bongo, and other places in the Upper East region, which became the center of exploitation and raiding during the slave trade. But my engagement with them, I realized that there's still people are looking for closure. They remember their loved ones that were taken during the slave trade, but also were taken during colonialism. So of course the slave raiding might have stopped on paper, but colonialism extended it, reorganized it. So people were taken and forced into colonial labor, taken to First and Second World War forcefully. So I realized that no, these people need closure, and the closure is to have an encounter with the descendants of those who were taken outside. But I've also had the opportunity of staying in the United States, and I see our brothers and sisters come to Ghana every year in the name of reconnecting to their root. But when they come, they don't get the opportunity to go up north, to connect with the very communities that their ancestors were taken from. They go to the coast, the slave dungeons, which is important. But we don't want to tell our story using the mechanism or the machinery of exploitation. The slave dungeons were used to dehumanize our ancestors. They used to take away their rights. So we want to create a space for them to connect with the very communities their ancestors were taken from. And that is part of the process of healing. Because those here in Ghana are looking for closure. They want to see the return of the descendants of the offspring of their fathers who were taken outside the coast, and some even brought here and taken outside. But those coming also need a closure, and that's what I term from social death to social resurrection. When they were taken, they experienced what we call natal alienation. They lost their kinship, they lost their name, there was identity erasure. And so for them to experience social resurrection, they need to come back home and connect to their kings. And then when I engage families over there, it will be interesting to know that their conception of reparation is different from what you hear in the media. Reparation is not money to them. It is penance, forgiveness, reconnecting to their ancestors. That is what matters to them. And not just the money is important. They need development, but somebody who loses his father or mother, if you tell the person you want to repair, you are mentioning money to them is insult. So if you want to have a broader conversation about reparation, we have to engage communities that were directly affected by the slave trade, but of course also colonial, British and French colonial policies as well. Because just to add this, I think you might actually be aware that the British had a policy of isolation and neglect and isolation, where the North was deliberately neglected and isolated to keep it as a labor reserve for the South plantation. So of course the slave trade might have stopped. But what happened is that it changed the nature of domestic slavery in Ghana. So there was the need for free cheap labor on the plantation, Takoradi and other mines. So what the British did was that if you educate the Northerners or people from that area, and because the Southerners were already exposed, do not do the things that the British wanted them to do. So the North was preserved as a pool of labor to work on the plantation in the South. So though slave trade stopped, during the colonialism, people from that place were so brought in down south to engage in other menial jobs that today has a certain connotation. If you mention somebody, if you say you are coming from the North, there's a certain connotation that you have because of colonial policy. So another aspect of my work is to try to understand how memories of the slave trade and British colonialism shaping identity formation and migration, both induced and then conditioned.
What is the purpose of the Accra convening? What's the purpose?
So the Accra convening, like I said, is born out of the research I'm doing, but it's also an opportunity to create an awareness about the museum that we're working on. And we're actually naming this museum after an architecture in northern Ghana called the Denyanga Museum. Oftentimes, it's called the Old Ladies' Room. In Bully, we call it Dalong. The Blue Star play an important role in fighting or resisting slavery and the slave traders, of course. And this was an architecture that our mothers, especially women and children, would run to protect themselves against slave raiders. And so our argument is that it is important that we talk about the coast, we talk about the slave market, but we have registers of resistance that our ancestors used to fight against slave trade, and we need to honor their memory by going back to talk about this important architect. And one of them is the Denyanga Museum that I mentioned, because every year we do have what we call Emancipation Day. But how do you celebrate Emancipation Day if you don't go back to talk about the things our ancestors used to fight slave traders and, of course, British colonial forces as well? So that's why we are naming the project after the Denyanga Museum.
That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. So in conclusion, what would you tell us?
So I have two things to say. One is that this project is not just meant for what I call those in northern Ghana or those raided communities, for all of us, because what the slave trade did and slavery did is that it kind of rearranges. So there's somebody who was one, maybe a Fanti or maybe a Grusi, today is an Asante, today is a Fanti because of what had happened. So even though these things that happened in the past are not actually good, but they found a way in mixing us together such that you don't have one pure ethnic group. So of course, when you mention diaspora, for me, diaspora is not just about those in America, but even the diaspora in Ghana here. So I'm calling on everybody to come on board and support this project. The program is tomorrow at the West African Medicine Center at the University of Ghana. Yes. We start at 9 o'clock. Registration is 7:30 to 9 a.m. And then we're going to have important personality who will be speaking both from the diaspora, but also from communities that were directly impacted, but also families who lost their relative due to the slave trade. So if you are watching and you are interested in supporting or being part of this project, you are welcome. You can check us on our website. If you mention the Denyanga Museum or Museum of Healing and Reconciliation, you get to read more about us and then reach out to see how we could collaborate on this important project.
That's very solid. That's very powerful. Okay, it's 11 o'clock now. Let's hear from you, social media. What are people saying? And then we will take our last story whilst we step into Ashanti region again for the elections on Saturday. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. This is coming from Nana Owusu. He says, Mayor Senior is a firebrand communicator and the right man for the job. Sami Boachi says, Mayor Senior is a good brother and is always on point. Emmanuel Dek Denu says, it's either Senior or Senior. Docas GJ says, Senior is always the best. He is a winner already. See you tomorrow. And Richard Edinam Ahiamachi says, Mayor Senior is the hope for Volta Region NPP youth wings. Robert Clenam says, Senior is the hope for the young people in the Volta region, a new dawn for the NPP in the Volta region. Emmanuel Denu also says, Senior will serve diligently and build the youth for 2028 victory. Finally, coming from Chris Adu, he says, Paul, Senior is the best man for the job. The NPP delegates in the Volta region should give him the chance to rejuvenate the party grassroots in the region to secure victory for 2028 election for Dr. Bawumia. Over to you, Paul.
No.
La Abdul Khalik says the diaspora is ready to change the story of the Volta region NPP. The Germany NPP branch organizer is ready to help. They should reach out. Emmanuel says Senior will serve diligently and build the youth for 2028 victory. And Denu says, how can we leave Senior as Volta region youth? And Richard Edinam Ahiamaji says, Mayor Senior is the hope for Volta region NPP youth wings. This is coming from Yao February. He says, it is surprising that the government wants to revoke the mining lease of a Ghanaian-owned mining company like Adamus Resources, which has been in existence and operational for many years. The remaining small-scale mining companies that the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources and the Minerals Commission have issued mining license to are engaging in galamsey, making it extremely difficult for the government to fight the menace. Yet, the President has said that their gold is important to the country. So why not explore every possible means to allow Adamus Resources to correct any wrongdoing under the oversight of the relevant regulators? Why revoke the mining lease when it is much easier to supervise and regulate large-scale mining companies compared to the numerous small-scale mining operations across the country? We should be encouraging and supporting indigenous Ghanaian companies to grow, create jobs, generate revenue, and contribute to the development of the country while ensuring that they comply fully with the mining laws. This is coming from Osei Tutu. He says, I am deeply concerned about the growing dominance of foreign companies in Ghana's economy, while our own local businesses in Ghana's economy continue to be overlooked. If we are going to hand over vital national resources, priority should be given to Ghanaian-owned companies that will keep the profits, jobs, and development right here at home. We need to prioritize local ownership and support indigenous businesses to grow and compete effectively. Otherwise, we risk gradually losing control of our country's economic future. Musa says, good evening, Mr. Paul. You are doing an excellent job. Keep educating the masses. Watching you live from Wale Wale in the Northeast region. Amos Wilson says, waiting for Mayor Senior to the incoming NPP Volta Regional Youth Commander. Lastly, coming from Amos, he says, Mayor Senior is the right person for the job. Over to you, Paul.
Okay, welcome back, and we are back on the touch screen, isn't it? Just before I go to the Ashanti region story, let me look at Master Planner Junior. Communication Officer Kintampo writes to us and says, Senior Ameklenu will be a solid youth organizer for the Volta region. I am pleading with all delegates to vote for him massively. He is just fire. Okay, I have another text message coming to me here. All right, now we'll tell you who are leading in Ashanti region. We'll tell you, we have a slate that we're going to share with you. But okay, let me tell you this story. Okay, I like the way they depicted it with the church. So there was a pastor, or these days we call them self-styled pastor, isn't it? Can you bring me back the photograph of the assault? Yes. Okay. So there was a pastor. This gentleman here in blue, he's a pastor, and or so he says, and he read something from the Quran, and said that and made derogatory remarks about the Prophet Muhammad. Blessed be his name is how the Muslims conclude when they mention his name. He said some things about the Prophet Muhammad, blessed be his name. And those things were derogatory, and Islam does not allow that. Islam abhors that. Then there came another pastor who said that if anyone talks about Muhammad the way this guy spoke about him, the Quran encourages such people to be killed. That's the word he used. Many people in social media were outraged. And then this Islamic cleric who said that was arrested by the police, I believe based on false information and threats, something like that. So he was arrested by the police. And then the Muslim people said that if you are arresting somebody who talked this way, please keep this for a while here. If you are arresting somebody who talks this way, then you ought to arrest this guy also. So this guy is also then arrested. He's arrested and sent to the police headquarters or some police facility. Whilst he's at the police facility, this man here, who is also in this photograph, is allowed to have access to him. He's an Islamic cleric, and I'm going to show you in a minute his profile. He's very high up in the NDC. He's quite close to the center of power, and he's also on the Hajj board and all of that. So he's a very well-known activist of the NDC, which is not a problem, but I'm just giving you his profile. Now he comes, and somehow people believe that because of his political connection, he has access to the police station, and then he assaults this guy. Let me show you the video of the assault, and I'll come and continue with the story. Have a look at the video of the assault.
amma abin da na gani da yake yi nan very grateful domin inda wani ne kamar yadda malamin ya fito ya nemi apology da ya kamata shi ma da muke sai ma muka zo police department da nemi apology amma shi ne kan kamar still na ina so ya explain kanshi shi ma ina so ya explain kanshi shi ma.
Okay, let me explain to you what this man was saying in the video. He's saying that this pastor here is not showing remorse. He has not regretted. And compared to the Islamic guy who was arrested, who apologized, this guy is refusing to apologize. And something like, we look at his head, he's pam. He's refusing to apologize, and he's just standing there. He's not even apologizing, pam. But he had access to him in custody. So I was going to show you the video again, but maybe it will take too much time. Now let's look at who this guy is. Can you put his profile on the start screen, and let's look at it very closely. And then I tell you the connotations that people are making out of this. So this guy who offered the slap, the brutal assault, this is his profile. He is the Greater Accra NDC Zongo Caucus Chairman, 2018 to 2022. He's the national leader of Imams for John Mahama, the President, 2022 to present. So currently, he's the national leader for the Imams who pray and support President Mahama. Then he's a presidential appointee to the National Hajj Board, 2025 till present. He's a special advisor, Ministry of Interior. He's a special advisor to the Ministry of Interior, 2025 to present. So he's currently a special advisor to the Ministry of Interior. He's a senior member of the weekly Friday prayers for President Mahama, 2025 till present. He's a member of the Presidential Envoy on Interfaith and Economical Relations, 2025 till present. This is very worrying because this guy, this Imam, he's a member of the high-profile people of the Ministry of Interior, and therefore he has access to get into a police station. Can you show me that photograph again? He has access because he's connected to the Minister of Interior, who is also a Muslim, by the way, Mubarak Muntaka, my good friend. He has access to him, so he's able to get over here. This is terrible. It's a very sad commentary on law enforcement, and it must be checked. But then there's a twist to it, and we are going to offer that twist to this story. The twist to this story is that people who support Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia are suggesting that this is all orchestrated. That's what they are saying. That this is all orchestrated. That the pastor himself is part of the orchestration. I hope that's not true, because I've seen videos this evening of Reverend Intim Fojo going in to take a bail for this pastor. But this conversation is that this pastor is also part of the orchestration. The story is that they want to create a religious disharmony from now going into the election, so that they'll be able to trump up, don't vote for a Muslim ticket, don't vote for a Muslim leader, because the MPP already have the very distinguished Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who happens to be Muslim. And in 2024, some people use that he's a Muslim, so don't vote for him. We can't have a Muslim president, and Muslim this and Muslim that. And the allegation is that all of these things are happening because it is feeding, or it wants to feed, or it wants to create a foundation to build a story on, if you have a Muslim, Christians will be beaten. So if you're a Christian, don't vote for a Muslim. Of course, the majority of us are Christians. I'm a Christian. You watching me, maybe. I have 3 Muslims here, 2 Muslims here. We all live together in harmony. We've lived together in harmony forever. If you look on social media today, people said my best friend was a Muslim. My this was a Muslim. My first girlfriend was a Muslim. All that, But somehow, it looks like, and I hope I'm wrong, I sincerely hope that I'm wrong, that some people want to take political advantage of it. Instead of having politics to be a competition of ideas, some people want to create something and generate something. And some pastors are involved. And I'm sending a warning to those pastors that this time you're not going to have it easy. All of us are pastors. According to the commission of our Lord Jesus Christ, all of us are pastors. So if you're going to be a pastor and you have your own personal sentiment, you have your political biases, and you think you can use your political biases to affect the candidature of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, we are going to deal with you. Because Jesus does not belong to only you, a pastor. The Holy Spirit does not belong to only you, a pastor. In fact, in the era of the Holy Spirit, a pastor, all of us are pastors. So be careful. Those pastors who feel that they have a political alliance and therefore they are going to use their pastoral office to promote their political alliance. You see, pastoral office is an office that comes with a divine agenda. And it's an office also that comes with a divine recognition. And all of us understand that divinely you are our boss. But if you are going to use your natural sentiment, if you go to every church, there's MPP and NDC. You go to Action Church, Duncan Williams will tell you he has MPP and NDC there, they fight all the time, he's in the middle, it's okay. You go to Catholic Church, there's NDC and MPP in there. We do not expect that the leader of the Catholic Church, whether he's NDC or MP, and he may be one of them, I don't know. I don't know where Bishop Palmer Buckle is. I don't know. I don't know whether Bishop Dag Heward knows. I don't know. I don't know Bishop Duncan Williams. He's not told me before. I don't know. I don't know where Reverend Otabel stands. I don't know. But Pastor Duncan Williams, Bishop Dag Heward Mills, Reverend Kranchi Ankra, these our fathers, the apostolic fathers, Eastwood Anaba, these great men, they may all have their political biases, but they will not use their pastoral office to promote their political bias. If we get to know that there are some pastors at the base who are doing this very unlawful and ungodly thing, that because you don't like Mahamudu Bawumia, you are going to use that dislike to preach to your congregation that God told you before he flew to heaven that Muslims should not lead Ghana, you are going to have us to deal with. You are going to have all of us to deal with. And you should be very careful. Those pastors, I'm not talking about Islamic clerics, I'm talking about pastors who have a political affiliation and who hide behind their political affiliation and come and tell us that Jesus said don't vote for Muslim. You will see what will happen to you here. We will show you that we are all pastors. Be careful, those pastors. You are warned. Now, this guy then slaps this guy, as you saw in the video, and he's saying that because he's not showing remorse. I would like to sit with the minister, to side, I should say, I would like to side with the Minister of Interior, the Honorable Mubarak Muntaka. I respect him. Mubarak Muntaka is a genuine guy. He's a very sensible man. I trust him, and I know that he's going to deal with this matter. So I will not say anything beyond that. Mubarak Muntaka, the Minister for the Interior, I trust him. I know him. I trust him. And I know that he will not have anything to do with an orchestration here. If this was an orchestration, he will not have anything to do with it. My concern is about pastors. Whoever you are, stay where the Great Commission said you should be. First in Jerusalem and to the uttermost part of the earth. Baptize people and lead us to the Holy Ghost. Show us the gospel. Don't come and tell us that Jesus said we shouldn't vote for a Muslim. Jesus said we shouldn't vote for a Hindu. Jesus said we shouldn't vote for a something. Don't tell us that. Do you hear? Anyway, let's go to some of the... Oh, Kokofu is here. Can I do some of the text messages before I... Okay, you want me to end? I think they want me to end. Let's leave it there. So, we talked about Coca being poised to win the election, and our phone started slapping. Where you take Coca is going to win. Coca is going to win. Kokofu is going to win. How is Coca coming from? Kokofu is going to win. Kokofu is going to win. I can't wait for Saturday at the Prempeh Assembly Hall, 8 o'clock. But I have to say a big congratulations to all the people who have put this together. You can't have an Ashanti region whose chairman has been incarcerated, and they have put this very massive event together. On Friday, there's a vigil for Chairman Wontumi, who would be there on Friday to speak. Congratulations to Andy Owusu. Andy, some people don't like you and some people like you. If you take 100 people in Kumasi, you will see a sharp division. And if you say anything about Andy, those who like him, they will carry stone and they will kill you. And those who don't like him will say that, oh, Andy, they are nyakra. But whatever it is, Andy is an organizer. However you look at it, Andy can put things together. Andy can organize. And on Friday, I expect, from what I've seen on the social media, a lot of people will turn up for this Wontumi. A region that has had its chairman incarcerated has been able to organize so well. The Honorable Member of Parliament for Efijase, Dr. Ayu Efriye, he has been able to organize very, very well. And all the members of Parliament from Ashanti region, Bafo, Asensu, Kwabena Boateng, all the members of Parliament from Ashanti region, I think they've all done an excellent job in putting Ashanti region together, hold it together in the face of Wontumi's trial, Wontumi's incarceration, Wontumi this, Wontumi that. Ashanti has stood, and that is the power of Kumapim Apim-Beba. Kokofu, good luck. I'll be there. Dr. Kokofu, good luck. Good luck. I'll be there. So, shall I end here? I believe they want me to end here. On this note, thanks for watching Good Evening Ghana on this very... what an edition we've had. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Choboy. Hello, ya. Clock it. Choboy. Hello, ya. Clock it.
I be the real goat, Chairman.
Who is the goat? Ghana Jollof or Nigeria Jollof?
You are lying. Ghana Jollof.
We are talking about BET.
Except be the goat, huh?
My guy, he be the goat.
Though our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof, Alomo Bitters always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment.
Proudly produced by Casapreco PLC. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 years. Not recommended for pregnant women and lactating mothers. Don't drink and drive.
This advert is FDA approved.
Metro TV, Original TV, Original FM and Metro Digital, under the auspices of the Office of the Chief of Staff, proudly present the Clean Conference 2026. Theme: Assessing Ghana's Progress towards UN SDGs Agenda 2030. SDG 6, Clean Water and Sanitation. SDG 7, Clean Energy. And SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. Friday, 21st August 2026, 9 a.m. at the City Conference Hall, University of Ghana, Legon, Accra. With just 4 years to achieve the UN SDGs 2030, how far has Ghana come? The answers begin with one national conversation, the Metro and Original Sanitation Conference, with the Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Debra. In attendance will be the Gamanche, His Royal Majesty King Takiteko True II. The Clean Conference, bringing together government, development partners, industry players, academia, civil society, and all Ghanaians. Change is not only in conference rooms, so there will be a cleanup exercise on Saturday, 22nd August 2026, also led by the Chief of Staff. Join thousands of volunteers for this massive cleanup exercise across the major streets of Accra. Metro Clean Conference, Wahuni Diema or Maini Tumpong.
Welcome to GH Schools, your #1 training institute that offers practical-based tuition in media and a variety of skill acquisition-related areas. At GH Media School, we offer journalism and media studies, journalism and media arts, TV and film production, and multimedia production. Also, you are assured of the best beauty training with GH Cosmetology School. We offer training in massage and body therapy, makeup artistry, hair technology. Realize your dream of becoming an astute fashion designer with GH Fashion School. Here, we offer training in bridal wear, suits, ladies and men's wear, children's wear, and millinery. Do you have the interest of preparing sumptuous and tasty foods that meet local and international standards? Then, GH Catering School is the best place for you. We offer training in cookery, pastry and beverage production, events decoration, and hotel management. Be abreast with the current technological trends as you train with GH Technology School. We offer computer systems, hardware and software, CCTV installation, home security, and many more. GH Schools makes available well-equipped studios and workstations to give our learners the practical and industrial standard experience during tuition. Hostel facilities are also available. Instant admission is in progress. Register now. Purchase your admission forms online on Locate us at Achimota Abofu Junction, opposite the Shell filling station. You can also contact us on 0544 622 250, 0577 622 250, 0204 622 250, and 0277 622 250. GH Schools. We say train, practice, achieve.
Chicken. Yeah, you know what to do. Parents, guardians, your Saturdays are about to be beautiful, exciting, and entertaining. On Metro TV, you are going to enjoy what is called massive home entertainment with funny face. I am back again, children. We are about to celebrate in your schools. We are about to dance in your schools. We are about to do everything we'll do in your schools. You will enjoy, I will enjoy, neighbors will enjoy. Everybody will enjoy. Children, be ready. We are going to do chicken, cow and chicken, cow and chicken. You just flap your armpit, open it, flap it, open, flap. Yeah. You see me in your school, you just open your armpit and you flap it. Chicken, that's all. You know what to do. My brother.
Time with the Children's President, coming soon on Metro TV.
Yeah, by the power of God. Yeah.